As a kid, whenever I got angry, my father, he always taught me to take a deep breath and count backwards from 10, 9. So maybe it's no surprise that nowadays I always seem to feel as if I'm one step behind. It's as if 8, 7. If it really is on earth as it is in heaven, I wonder if these heavens, do they spin anti-clockwise around hell like 6? Shit. How do I turn this wine back into water? How do I breathe in your laughter, make smiles from your footsteps, dear ancestors? I want to walk in your footsteps, but have you ever seen a rose bleed to death from its own thorns? I want to reconnect, but how do I connect when you're in this 5th dimension that's made of broken liquids? How can I make my arms long enough to hug all 4 corners of my commitments when I won't even commit to this countdown? It's been a long time. And so when it first started, I was just a little bit sad, so I pushed it down and I stepped on it. But soon after that, a little bit sad turned into a little bit mad, so I pushed that down and I stepped on that. Yet still after that, all these feelings, they just kept piling up inside me like mountains, so I continued stepping and climbing their rocky edges to mask the pain. And now, several steps later, I'm stood at 50,000 feet and all I want to do is jump. I scaled these rocky edges to mask the pain. Stood at 50,000 feet looking in on my life. My speech is paralyzed on this sleepless dawn. Negative spaces held me by my palms and carried me along cliffs, lifting my insecurities above sea level, making a freckle of my self-worth. But my cells are off this earth, so I'm hoping once my body hits this ground, maybe it won't even hurt. Instead, I'm hoping that we can just reconnect and the pain will simply just disperse. I scaled these rocky edges to mask the pain. And now I'm stood side by side with suicide, suspended, soaring on embankments, reciting poems that allow me to say everything I need without having to say anything at all, bleed everything I need without any of the pain of having to relive it all. Because before I figured, if no one could really hear me, then did I even really fall? But now I wish I could dance my thoughts across this monotone wave that this wind has curated from your essence. I wish my keynotes could speak a music into my speech, into my spoken word in this world where actions speak louder than words. Instead, these negative spaces, they held me by my palms as we shook the hands of shadows. And I clocked the noon that dialed in on my thoughts, calling me in to this beautiful darkness. It was like, imagine sunsets with broken moons, and it spoke to me with such a violent calmness as it handed me his tools. And now my speech lingers in cylinders. It teeters on this 9mm covered in gunpowder residue, a silence smothered in the 30% industry rises in gunpowder revenue. I can smell it as it simmers on my fingers. Because you see, the pitch of my voice is held in the choice of my aim. So maybe this is the only way you would hear me stood on cliffs this high. I bet the forever sound of my cry will echo in every gunshot round. I scale these rocky edges to mask the pain. Reciting poems that allow me to say everything I need without having to say anything at all. Because the more I breathe life into these lines and attempt to line up my life in one breath, it grants me just enough space to tame this anger in the name of projection. I should have let my keynote speak a music into my speech, into my spoken word. Instead, this silence sits and clicks on the stutters that drip from my lip. This silenced tongue is slipped and tripped on its own spit. And now every horrible word I ever gripped from your lips, they're laying heavy on my lids, paying levy to a feeling that I'm afraid can now never be undid. Because it's ironic how you never really saw me until I closed my eyes.